Okay, it looks like I am live, hopefully. My Streamyard program says I am live. I am Dana, the Angry Citizen, coming to you today. It is Wednesday, October 23rd, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I am coming to you now with a message about my friends and my allies. I've been absent for a while. I apologize for that. I had to get my own life in order. To be able to come back and present anything worth seeing or hearing to all of you, my friends, allies, followers. I don't like the word followers because it implies some sort of subservience, but all those who hear my message, and I appreciate you greatly. I really, really do. Um, America's in a very dark time, and all of us, I think all of us, uh, look for solutions, remedies for injustices. Our government is wildly out of control. We all know this. I mean, pretty much regardless of your race, gender, ideology, we all know our government is wildly out of control. And we would like to be able to think that there's a path to remedying that, holding them accountable and reining them in. So, and this is why I created the Angry Citizen. The very reason all of us can argue about all of the trivial issues of uh, our nation, our time currently, but the fundamental uh, issue that we need to ally on or disagree on is whether we are constitutional Americans. You either are or you are not. And whenever we argue about other issues, people often bring in uh, nonsensical uh, obscurities and divisions and illogical concepts in order to get away from the fact that we are at our core all constitutional Americans. And every other issue we argue, we either endorse and embrace and support the Constitution or we don't in our arguments. And when you argue for a particular position, if you're arguing against the Constitution, like, for example, gun control measures, then you are disavowing the Constitution. Constitution is the supreme law of the land. All laws that are repugnant to it are null and void. And this has been established and is the as fact is the law of the land. And whenever you argue that my guns should be taken from me, you are arguing against the Constitution. No matter how upset that makes you, that's the reality you live in. That's the truth. So, and the truth is the sword of God. So, I have been lately really strongly questioning my friends and allies, hence my message to you today. A friend is someone who's earned the right to be my friend, to know me, to have my contact information, to be able to contact me, reach out to me at some point and say, I would like to talk to you, and I would actually give them some attention. Allies are people with whom I am allied in my purpose to restore our constitutional republic to full validity. Um, and there are often people I don't care for. Very often, people I don't care for. And therein lies the crux of my message to you today. So I've been absent for a while because I've grown very frustrated and angry at the behavior of a lot of the people that I think of as allies. Um, I have many times tried to interact with and work with and ally myself with people that I thought were like-minded with me in our cause to fully restore our constitutional republic. And I have found a lot of conflict there, a lot of uh, opposition and egos and uh, unnecessary uh, arguing and conflict, and it bruises me. It hurts my soul. I figured all of us on this page should be able to unite, right? We should be able to all get on the same page and hold our government accountable. This seemed like a home run to me when I first invented the whole angry citizen concept. And we can argue about the term citizen later, but for purposes of this discussion, being that we the people of the United States, we the people of every state in this union, all agree on 99% of the issues that are in front of us. That we want to be safe in our homes. We want to be, as Americans, we're protected. We have the Constitution to give us a definition of our rights and declare them and make sure that they can't be taken from us, um, no matter what discussions we have about religion and politics and gender and all the other issues, that we would at least be able to unite under that premise. And that seemed to me like a home run. So I went and I registered the domain of the Angry Citizen. It was angrycitizen.org. So there's a long story behind that, but that got stolen from me by InMotion Web Hosting. InMotion Web Hosting. Avoid them like the plague. They stole my domain. Long story, but I'm not going to go into that here. So I'm trying to get with like-minded people. Originally, this was years ago, and I thought this was a home run. So, but what I underestimated was the amount of ego involved. These people have staggering egos, and when I attempt to work with them, communicate, coordinate, cooperate with them, I am met with a stone wall, and often it's masked in friendliness. They present a very convincing guise of friendliness and helpfulness and cooperation, and especially, and this is going to push a button for a lot of you, but this is the truth. Presenting themselves as men and or women of God. See, that they really mean what they say, and they'll talk about God and they'll use God in their conversations. But at the end of the day, what happens is they overtly or subtly oppose me and others. And the reason is because it's their ego, their movement, their brand, their idea, their group, their organization, their fundraising effort, their banner, their label. And I come to them not with, I'm trying to promote my label. I don't want to be famous. I don't want to be on the front lines of this movement. I don't want to have an organization. I didn't want to create the Angry Citizen in the first place, but I'm pissed because my government is wildly out of control. And my countrymen seem virtually unable or unwilling or both to rein them in, to do what's necessary to rein them in, which isn't that hard. I've represented this concept since day one. All we have to do is unite and let them know we're no longer interested in your freaking shenanigans. We're going to hold you accountable. We see you. We know what you're doing. It's all a matter of record. Everything's right there in front of us. Your conversations, your interactions, your contributions from drug companies and whatever other organizations are funding your campaign so you can be our senator. Okay, we see them, they're right there in front of us. We all don't like the fact that this is happening. We want you to be accountable and transparent and do what we want, but we can't get on the same page. We always want to fight. And this is personified by this movement. So years ago, when I started this, I was really excited about it because I thought these people would unite, but they all want to fight. They all want to fight. They want to fight me every time. Years ago, when I started this, I met a whole bunch of people. There were about 10 of us. We were involved in a group. We're really excited about pursuing justice, transparency, accountability in our government. And we were united in the core concept of uniting America's constitutional sheriffs. We were working with a fellow, his name is Richard Mack, and I'm not going to go into that right now, but later I'll be talking about that. Richard Mack is a former sheriff from Arizona who created, I'm told, I believe this is correct, the Constitutional Sheriffs and Peace Officers Association, CSPOA, which I began to enthusiastically support. I spoke with Richard on the phone a couple of times. I had interactions with him. We were involved with a bunch of people. There were a lot of people involved, so it's not, I can't like give you a quick summary, but we were very excited about the concept of uniting America's constitutional sheriffs. We began diligently working together to organize and facilitate these conferences throughout America. We were literally calling a sheriff, like every sheriff in America. Okay, I'm not even kidding you, and getting them to hopefully get all together and unite as a force, as constitutional sheriffs. This was the most powerful concept that any of us could have thought of or created, and I was very excited about this concept. So, and there were about maybe 10 or 12 of us, I guess, involved originally, and um, we were very united until it sort of vanished, vaporized, went away. Um, and those people that I was involved with, I thought we would continue our involvement toward restoring America, toward pursuing constitutional remedies. And those people, when I created the Constitutional Sheriffs Forum, which I thought would be the linchpin, the cornerstone that would unite America, because we, as constitutional Americans supporting our constitutional sheriffs, 99% of all of the issues we face as a nation are dealt with very handily because we, the people, agree on most issues. We don't want to be seeing homeless veterans on the street while we're literally flying immigrants in. Immigrants is a generous term. They're illegal aliens. They're coming here illegally. And our so-called representatives, the Congress and the Senate, are paying for this out of our pockets. And there are homeless veterans sleeping on the street. And no one in America supports this except nut jobs. Okay. If we could actually get a consensus, if we could actually all unite our voices and really present ourselves as a united force, that we the people want this or that or whatever. So I am 100,000% on board with making sure that every single veteran who's paid in blood for the safety of we the people is presented with and given every benefit they have before we bring in anyone from another country. And I think we all agree on that, don't we? Who doesn't, right? But we can't get on the same page. We fight among ourselves. And when I got on the board with this group, I was really excited about the potential for us to unite on that concept. But when I created the forum, and I created the America's Constitutional Sheriffs.org forum, and virtually all of them abandoned me. Not one of them was in communication with me, supporting this, trying to help me with this concept, talking to sheriffs. Okay. with a few exceptions, and I do want to be very clear here, there were a few people, a few key people, key allies who did support me. And I love you. Thank you. But to those who didn't, and they didn't, and I spent a lot of time helping people, folks. I spent time um, watching their events, videotaping their events, creating videos of their events, which I uploaded to my YouTube channel. Um, and I asked virtually nothing in return. And at this point, I'm very honest with you, I'm just super frustrated, folks, because I've spent so much time doing this, so much time and energy doing it, and I've asked very little in return. And I'm going to right now note a couple of people who have been extremely supportive of me. And there are more, but I want to point out that I'm not just complaining. This isn't just me, whining because things aren't going my way. I'm telling you, there are people who have really not supported me and betrayed me and refused to talk to me and ignored, and this includes people like Paula Page, um, a long list of people who have just really conspicuously opposed and um, thwarted me at every turn. Um, and I'm really mad about it because I'm not trying to be a glory hound. I don't care about glory. I care about restoring our nation, and it starts with, in my case, restoring my state, which is Maine. I love this state with all my heart, and I want to see it restored. And we have all kinds of problems going on here. They're ridiculously um, inflated by virtue of the um, lack of attention of we, the people of Maine, that should be opposing these things. And in a lot of cases, we are. Like in Maine, we have the Maine CMP corridor, they call it, which is a giant swath they're going to chop out of the center of our state to get power from Canada to Massachusetts. We, the people of Maine, have opposed this several times, 3 times, I think. We voted this down, and still they're shoving it down our throats. Our lobstermen are under constant duress. We're told that apparently there's Maine lobster gear wrapping up the poor right whales and killing them in droves, and they're washing up on the shores of various places dead because of our Maine lobster gear. And the federal government's going to come here and tell us what kind of lobster we're allowed to fish, and how big they're going to be, and uh, these federal agencies, what's it called, Jonah or Jonas or Noah, I think it is, out on in Oregon, I think they are, and they're telling us that the Maine lobstermen are killing the white whale, so they're going to come here and tell us what kind of gear the Maine lobstermen are allowed to use. Um, it's abysmal. Um, so back to my original comment. Of all my allies, there are several that stand out very boldly as people that have been with me, helped me, um, been communicative and cooperative with me. And that is, number one is my good friend and buddy, Ohio Brett Ball. You go to ohiobrett.com, see him. He has been outstanding as an ally. And the amazing ladies at the Flame USA, uh, a newspaper that was created by these two amazing women. I've written several articles for them, and they have been awesome supporters and supported the sheriff's forum when I created it. Thank you for that. Um, and there are more, and I'm not going to mention them all because I want people to know that I'm not just universally uh, decrying all of those that may think of themselves as my allies. I'm very fond of a lot of you, but a lot of you have deeply fallen through, and I'm irritated because I ask very little. And I have several times reached out to people that were close to me and said to them, "I need 5 minutes of your time, 5 minutes. That's it, okay?" And a week later, I haven't heard from you. And in one case, this very prominent case, um, this particular individual is someone that is a prominent Christian and a powerful man of God, which, even though I'm not a Christian, I am a man of God, and I recognize them, and him being a powerful Christian and man of God. I asked him to reach out to me regarding a prayer meeting for a friend of mine, Dr. Paul Goslin, who is uh, imprisoned and under threat from the so-called legal system. That's a whole other story. I'm not going to go into in detail. If you know it, you do. If you don't, you don't. And this particular individual didn't contact me for a week. And a week later, I sent a text. It's on my phone right here. And I said, I'm going to interpret this as an I'm not interested. Right? I mean, if I text someone and I said, and this was important. This was important. A prayer meeting is important. Okay. And a week later, I haven't heard from you. And when finally I lose my patience and I say, I'm interpreting this as a no thank you, and I send you the text. And what does this guy do? He sends me back. First thing he says is he sends me back a text immediately and lets me know. He says, I'm very busy. This is what they always do. They go, I'm busy. Like, I know you're busy. I wasn't under the illusion that you weren't busy. That's your way of being pissed at me because you dropped the ball. I asked for relatively little. This is a prayer meeting. It's important for my friend Paul Goslin. And a week later, I haven't heard from you. How long am I supposed to wait for you to get back to me before I can interpret that maybe you're blowing me off? Well, a week is a long time. And then he sends me a whole bunch of his texts. He forwards me his texts on my phone. He says, I've gotten these today. Just this morning, I had this many texts. And I'm thinking, with the same freaking effort that you just put in to explain to me how you've been busy and send me these texts that I don't care about and have no business with your texts with these people, you could have said to me that either A, yes, I would be happy. Yes, let's do that. How about Thursday at 7:30? Or you could have said, no, I don't have time for that. I'm too busy. But instead, you send me all these texts letting me know how busy you are, and you're very busy. And what you're telling me is, first of all, I'm not worth your time. I'm not a priority. That's the truth. When I said I would like to set up a prayer meeting, please, you blew me off for a week. You're letting me know I'm not worth your damn time. Okay, that's it. That's the truth. And I have every right to be irritated with you because you blew me off for a freaking week. I wouldn't have done that to you. When you text me, I text you back within 24 to 48 hours. When I was originally in this group and I worked with these people, and there's a group out on the West Coast. I won't say who they are, but we were working together. There were a couple of individuals, and there were about, like I said, 10 of us involved. And I worked my ass off. I really did. I helped them with everything I could. I made phone calls. I spent my time. I was losing sleep. I work overnights, so my sleep is very precious to me. And I worked like a dog to help all these people with each and every one of their projects and their organizations. And when I came out with the Sheriff's Forum, the America's Constitutional Sheriffs.org, not one of them came forward to help me. None of them. None. They abandoned me. Even the one friend that was literally on the phone with me when I came up with the idea. And she and I were chatting away, and I was like, you know what we need to do? We need to unite the sheriffs. We get every sheriff in America on board. They will be reinforced and strengthened by the comfort and alliance of each other. And they will know that every single sheriff in America is on the same page, that the Constitution is the supreme law of the land, and all laws that are repugnant to it are null and void, and that if they stand together with we the people, that we defeat mighty evil overlords immediately overnight. And my friend was very excited about it and she was literally like, urging me, calling me and talking to me and being like, yeah, let's get this thing going. It sounds great. We had a couple of sheriffs on board that were going to, you know, sign on, and we were going to start posting content. And as soon as I got it finished, like literally, it was up and running, and she was gone, and they were all gone. All my allies were abandoned me. Again, with the aforementioned exceptions. Ohio Brett, thank you, brother. Appreciate you. Love you. Thank you for your support on that. He got me hooked up with an interview with Dr. John Diamond. We talked about that. Well received. So, in America, I'm telling you, there were two sheriffs that signed up. Two sheriffs in the entire nation of America out of 8,000 plus sheriffs said, yes, sign me up. I want to post my content. I'm going to speak my voice. I'm going to support we the people. I'm going to stand by my oath. Two sheriffs. So at this point, I've been faced with the inevitable uh, dilemma of wanting to give up. I've spent so much time doing this, so much time, and asked for very little. And I've spent thousands of dollars out of my pocket. I've spent hundreds of hours of my time with phone calls and the websites and the projects and trying to work with people and coordinate with people. And half the people I've met have turned out to be self-serving scumbags. And that's the truth. They're interested in glory. That's all they want. They want glory. They want money. And they're watch them carefully, America, because the first thing they do is start talking about money. Well, I have expenses and I have bills to pay, and well, my fee is usually this and that, blah blah blah. Okay, the other people, and I'm going to give a special shout out to a friend of mine. His name is Scott Shara. Go to ouramazinggrace.net. Scott Shara. Scott was here with me recently at the third annual Maine Freedom Rally in Lemoyne, and he flew up here at his own expense. I volunteered to pay him. When I contacted him and asked him to come here, I told him, I will compensate you, Scott. You don't have to pay for your own plane ticket. I'm bringing you here as my guest. Scott paid for his own plane ticket, and he didn't ask for a penny from me. And my other guest was Nurse Erin. Erin Olevsky, I think is the last name. Nurse Erin, go to nurseerin.org. And she agreed to fly all the way here to Maine and be at the third annual Maine Freedom Rally, which she did. And she wasn't, and I told her I would pay for her expenses. And she also wanted to decline. And eventually I had to really persuade her, strong arm her into allowing me to pay for her plane ticket to come here. She was coming here. And again, I would have gladly paid that. Okay. See, these people aren't looking for money. So we're not looking for money. Okay. We're looking for success. We're looking for our brothers and our sisters to unite under the common banner of the Constitution and rule of law and accountability and transparency. And we don't care whose name is on the banner. So you know what? If one of you, I'm really angry, so I'm having trouble holding myself in, but if one of you people out there, those people that were with me in the sheriff's forum was being formatted, and you were all on board until it happened, if you want to take it and pretend it's your idea, go ahead. Is that what's necessary to make it successful? Because if it is, that's fine. That's the price I'll pay. I don't want it glory. I just want it to work. We have all the power, America. We just don't use it. And if we could stop bickering among ourselves, um, we could easily hold the elected servants accountable. It comes with number one is awareness. We have to be aware what they're doing, see what they're doing, hear their words, read the legislation they're trying to pass, understand how it affects us. And then number two is the feedback to them. We, the people, uh, as a collective body, tell them this is how we feel about it. When you start talking about bringing illegal aliens here to the United States and paying for them, who pays for that? Okay. When the governor of, I think it was Texas, sent uh, so-called asylum seekers to Martha's Vineyard, the people in Martha's Vineyard got very upset with them. But isn't that a legitimate thing? Isn't Martha's Vineyard a sanctuary city? Why aren't we allowed to send them there? Didn't you say you would take them? And don't you have the money to pay for them? Are you allocating that someone else should pay for them? Who gets to pay for them? Who pays that bill? And if we're going to pay for people to have housing and food, shouldn't we pay for homeless veterans first? Isn't that a home run, America? I don't understand who would oppose this. Who would oppose it? Kamala Harris? I'm at a point where I've been off Facebook for a while, and I've been off social media, and I'm having trouble motivating myself to get back on because everyone wants to fight. I just don't get it. Why is everyone so willing to fight all the time? They just really want to fight, and we need to not be fighting among ourselves. We need to be uniting and presenting ourselves as a united front to our government. Our government is wildly out of control. They need to be reined in. We can rein them in. We have the awareness. That's the thing we need. We need to have the voice to send them letters, emails, phone calls, let them know what we want and demand they do it. And we would see success overnight. I was in a meeting, a Zoom meeting with some people in Massachusetts. And during this meeting was a guy who was very loud and forceful in the conversation. He was, talking. He commented on everything everyone said, and he always had to be the one talking. And he was very loud and very forceful. Um, and I don't like fighting, so I wasn't going to argue with this guy or try to get my voice heard over his because he was clearly willing to yell louder than everyone else to be heard. I was like, "Fine, dude, you talk." But eventually, I waited very patiently for my turn to talk, and I said basically what I just said to all of you, which is that the thing that is necessary for us to be successful is that all of us get together and make our voices heard to those that are making these decisions and let them know that we see you and we're going to hold you accountable and this is what we demand you do. And if you think that won't work, then you need to look back at the social justices movements like Dr. Martin Luther King and the suffragette movement, where women went out and did this, and black people went out and did this under, and not just black people, but the white people that were similarly aligned, and all did exactly what I'm describing to you, and it worked. It does. So, and at about the point I was trying to make my point, this guy jumped all over me. He interrupted me. It was no, 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 no. That won't work. That can't. Blah blah. And he began talking, and that was it. I was done talking. This guy took right over and talked. And um, I've had interactions with this guy quite a bit because he's a freedom fighter, and he's actually a smart guy, and he created at one point an online uh, platform much like Facebook, or created, or I don't know exactly how it came about again, because he wouldn't really talk to me. He would always kind of blow me off and whatever. And I tried to help him because even though I did not like the guy and he walked all over me, I still am so willing to do what's necessary to be victorious that I'll work with people I don't like, and I have, and I do. But this guy really tested my patience, and he created a forum of this format, which was very much like Facebook, and a lot of people looking for alternative social media platforms because Facebook is ripe with censorship. We know this, So people want to say, well, I want to be on a platform where I can just say what I want. I don't have to worry about someone censoring me. So there's a lot of alternatives out there. Well, he created this platform that was actually really slick, and it acted like Facebook. And I signed on, even though again I don't like the guy. He was a dick to me. Excuse my French, but that's the truth. And I was like, okay, well, you know what? We'll check it out. We did, and it was actually pretty good. And so what I did was I created my event, which was the third annual Main Freedom Rally event, and I ran into a problem. The date function wasn't working correctly, and it wouldn't let me put in the date for the following year. It wouldn't let me put in a date up until the end of the current year. So I immediately sent him an email, and I just like, hey, dude, I just want to let you know that this was an issue, or whatever. And he did just this is what people do. Blew me off. Days went by, I didn't hear from him. What am I supposed to do? My credibility is on the line. I'm trying to use your platform. I'm trying to maybe encourage other people to use this platform. I'm going to go on back on Facebook and I'm going to say, hey, folks, there's an alternative. You should check out this. And I'll bring these people over here. And all I ask is that you let me know what's going on with this thing because it's not working. And he blew me off. And finally, I had to like get from a friend that knew him, and I got this very glib response, something along the lines of, well, he said he's going to submit a ticket. Well, what does that mean? Where does that leave me? Why won't you talk to me? Why did I have to hear from this other person? You see, because he's got a big ego. That's the truth. He's got a big ego. So he and I don't talk at all. Not at all. And this group out in the West Coast, somewhere, Seattle, Oregon, somewhere, I don't know. And we were trying to work together originally on the whole sheriff's forum and concepts. And I continually emailed the leader of this group requesting meetings. I said, we need to coordinate. We need to communicate. We need to get our resources together and present a united front and be effective as a unit. And I noticed immediately that he didn't get back to me. He never said, yes, we should meet. No, we shouldn't meet. I am available. I'm not available. How about Wednesday? I can't do a daily meeting, but maybe every other. Never. He just ignored me. He just ignored. It was conspicuous, obvious, painful, and embarrassing. Because at that point, what am I supposed to do? See, I'm a very direct guy. And so I did actually talk to a couple people in his group organization. And I said, this dude needs to talk to me. What are we doing? He's ignoring me. It was all about his group, his fame, his glory, his success, which I would have been okay with supporting if it worked. But at this point, I'm going to just be a lot more reserved about in whom I invest my time, my energy. Um, I'm going to be treating people a lot more the way they treat me. So if people are disrespectful of my time, my energy, I'm just not going to give them any priority. And it's a tough thing to do because I've tried to help people all my life, but I can't continue to invest myself in things that aren't working. And that's kind of where I am now. So, to all of you who have been supportive, I thank you. I genuinely thank you. I appreciate you. Um, to those of you who have not, uh, I'm very angry at you. uh, I'm going to be a lot less responsive to you. I'm going to treat you the way you've treated me. If you don't want to talk to me, don't talk to me. And if you do, do. But we're at war. I mean, the fate of our nation is at stake, and the fate of the world hinges on the state of our nation. So America uh, will dictate the future of the world to a great extent. Um, our constitutional republic needs to stand, and it needs to be the way of life and thinking for everyone, because my rights are yours and yours are mine. And that's where I'm going to uh, die. That's the hill on which I'm going to die. So um, here in Maine, we have an election coming, as a lot of us do. Um, and I am actually going to be interviewing a gentleman who is running for governor here in Maine, who is, I guess the phrase would be an alternative candidate. I don't like that phrase, but his name is Robert Wessels. That'll be tomorrow, Thursday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I've met him personally and like him, and definitely would like to see him be elected as governor. And I would like to have all of you consider voting for him, because he and I had a conversation wherein he was talking about the need for money, because that's what people supposedly need to get elected for positions, which I think is abominable, but that's the system under which we live. And I said to him, um, Robert, you don't need money. You just need to get your message to the people of Maine. You need to get your face in front of them. You need to say, here's who I am. And my name is Robert Wessels, and I'm running for governor, and this is what I believe in and what I stand for. And I will be accountable to we, the people of Maine, and please vote for me. And that's all you need. So I'm privileged to be interviewing him tomorrow night. I hope you will tune in and see this, and I hope you will vote for him, and I hope you will encourage others to vote for him as well. So um, thank you all for listening. I am Danny the Angry Citizen, speaking to you from Brewer, Maine. Um, God bless you. God bless Maine. God bless the United States. God bless planet Earth in this dark time. Um, and I will have more for you soon. Please do tune in tomorrow night at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time for my interview with Robert Wessels, who is running for governor here in Maine. And I look forward to hearing all of your comments about that. So God bless you all.